Okay, I'm gonna get the granola out of the oven.
I'm Anneli, a full-time registered nurse, mother, daughter of Alzheimer's, and a plant eater. Join me today. I'm making a healthy, crunchy granola, and I'm sharing my recipe with you.
This is what it looks like. I like to put it on a parchment sheet. Hey there everyone. Today I'm going to make a healthy, crunchy, delicious granola that isn't too sweet and is great by itself with whatever your choice of milk is, whether it's a plant-based milk or if you'd like to have it with some yogurt. It's delicious either way. I've made this recipe for years. I had it jotted down in one of my planners. So the last little while I've been just kind of making it by memory, and so I've finally written down the actual ingredients. I will have the recipe listed in the description, so have a look there.
Okay, so let's get started. I am using a food processor for the wet ingredients, which includes 1 banana and then about 6 or 7 dates. This time I bought the ones that had the pits in, and they actually taste better, and it's so easy to get the pits out. I think you can also use a blender or mash it up with just a fork if you don't have any other piece of equipment. I'm also adding a little bit of maple syrup, and then vanilla. And this bottle always gives me so much trouble. You should see me trying to get that lid off. And I just, it's about a teaspoonful. Now I'm going to blend this till it's I want to get it quite pureed. There's still going to be little bits of dates in there, but this is the wet ingredients that all the dry are going to mix with. So I checked it out. It's still a little bit too chunky here, so I'm going to process it a little bit longer. That's better. So you need a big bowl, and I just put all this mush, or I should say mash, into the bowl. Get every last bit out. I did half the recipe. Last time I made it, I doubled it, and it was quite a bit. This time I just did half the recipe, and as I said, this is a very forgiving recipe, so you can adjust everything to your own taste. So I'm adding some unsweetened coconut flakes, and I'll have all the ingredients listed in the description. I have these slivered almonds, so I'm going to use those. Before I used to have whole almonds and I just give them a rough chop. You could use other nuts too, it'd be great. Then I'm using some raw hemp seed hearts. That's for extra protein. I'll have all the ingredient links also in the description. My favorite brand, North Coast Naturals, is a company that's here very close to me in British Columbia. And I love their vegan products, and those are the ones I use. Hemp seeds are such an excellent source of protein and fiber, and of course omega-3 and 6. Also a great source of magnesium, and magnesium is excellent for your blood pressure. So 3 tablespoons of the hemp seeds has 70% of your daily recommended allowance of magnesium, plus 10 grams of protein. So to boost the nutritional value of this granola also, I decided to add the Ultimate Daily Cleanse from North Coast Naturals. It is such a great source of fiber and your omegas plus probiotics. You just can't go wrong by boosting all the nutrition you can into a granola. So then I added 3 cups of rolled oats. Now you have to mix it really well into the wet ingredients. I still have to add all the spices in there, but I just want to make sure that it's all really well incorporated into the banana and dates. So here I go. So this is a little bit of nutmeg. I think that's a really good spice. Then some really healthy ginger. I don't have any fresh, otherwise I'd grate that in. Then a Finnish favorite, which is cardamom. We put that into our Finnish sweetbread called pulla, so I'm adding some of that into there. Cinnamon. I'm generous with the cinnamon because cinnamon is good for you too. So all these spices are excellent for your health. And just a little pinch of salt. sea salt. That brings out the flavors and everything. So now we're just going to stir it all up again to make sure it's well incorporated. So this is how you kind of want it to look, a little bit moist throughout. Then you're going to spread it on a sheet pan. I like to use the parchment because then I can use the paper to pour it into the container. I also like to spread it out thin because I do like to get it a bit crispy. I've already preheated the oven to 250 degrees Celsius, and I will put this in the oven, and then halfway through the baking time I'm going to give it a bit of stir to get that extra crispiness to it. So I bake mine for about 40 to 50 minutes.
Okay, so you know what? It's time. I've had the granola in the oven about 50-55 minutes. I did break it up and stir it around halfway through because I said I like mine crispy. And it smells so good in here. It smells like I've got banana bread baking, but of course I don't. It's granola, but it's going to be just as good. I did taste the dough before I put it in the oven. It was delicious. And if you hear some moaning and groaning and banging, that's because somebody's working out downstairs. So let's see how it looks in the oven, okay?
Okay, this is just perfect. It's been about 50-55 minutes. It's a little bit golden brown, just how I like it. And there's a little bit of clumps in there. That's what I also like. I'm just going to put it on a rack to cool. Once it's cooled, I'll put it into a container.
Okay, so the granola is out of the oven and this is what it looks like. I like to put it on a parchment sheet because then I can just easily use the parchment to get it into my container. And I like to keep it in a sealed container. So this is what I'll use.
So 2 of my favorite products, raw hemp seed hearts and Ultimate Daily Cleanse from North Coast Naturals. Anything you can add to boost the nutrition value of the granola is excellent. I've increased it with protein, I've increased it with omega-3s and 6s, and I've added lots of fiber and also probiotics from the Ultimate Daily Cleanse. It's actually really, really delicious, and I hope you try it. Let me know what you think. Have a wonderful day and stay very safe.